Hi, it's Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I decided to do a candy corn ornament for this Halloween. It's a very simple ornament, a great one for you to start with if you've never done an ornament. And I just love the look of candy corns. They're my favorite kind of Halloween image. I love pumpkins and bats and cats and all that, but there's something about the color. Now, if I could do it over, I would not have done the metallic orange. It's a lot brighter in person than it is on camera, but I think I would have done a more like the orange I did on my pumpkin. But it doesn't matter what orange you use. I used this orange mainly because it's easy for you to get. A simple ornament. I think you'll have fun making it, and you can even do a chocolate one if you want to do the brown on the bottom instead of the yellow. But if you have other orange sequins, you really can use any white, any orange, any yellow. Yellow being the hardest to get, but it's a fun ornament, and I thought it'd be a good one to share. Plenty of time to make it before Halloween, and you can hang them pretty much anywhere. You can make this into a pin if you'd rather by gluing or sewing a pin back on the back, either downwards or across. And I do have other videos that are specifically pins. If you look on my playlist, that will show you how to do that. In fact, I think the one I just did with the tree, my last ornament video, had a pin back sew on tutorial. So I'll be back here in just a minute to show you how to do it. For you, it'll be just a second, but for me, I actually did the whole video first, and then now I'm showing you the finished piece. So kind of that old TV magic thing where they put it in the oven and pull it right out. Well, I used to make a whole ornament ahead of time and then do the video and make a second one, but I want to get more videos out, and the only way to do that is to do it in reverse. So anyway, you're going to watch me make this exact ornament. So thanks so much, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get started. The materials you need are 2 pieces of felt cut out in the shape of the candy corn. You can either use a cookie cutter like I did, and I use an ink pad, and I pretty much use this as a stamp onto the felt, cut it out. Or if you don't want to do that, you can simply draw a triangle on a piece of cardboard, round the corners slightly, and then use it to trace around on the felt. Either way works great. Then decide what colors you want. You can do white, orange, or yellow as the felt. One will be the back of the piece, one will be the front. Now, I started this video earlier and I tried an experiment because I've done this on other ornaments and it did not work. And that was cutting out these two to put on here so that I'd have yellow and white. But what it did is it made the orange too thin and it just didn't look right. So I decided I was going to do it the way I usually just do my ornaments, is pick a background color and just put all the sequins for that color onto the one color. So I decided to go with the lighter color, and I'll put the white on the top, the orange in the middle, and then I'll finish with the yellow on the bottom. Now, there's no right or wrong on this. If you look at a bag of candy corn and dump them out in your hand, some will have little tiny white tops, some will have white tops that are down to here, some will have little tiny yellow or big yellow. It really is random. So do it to your specifications, what you think is nice. This is a pin I made years ago in the 90s, and I'll do a video on these too. And I just did what I thought was the best proportion. So just do what looks good to you, and how I'm going to do it is I'm going to pick where I want my white to start, which is right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and thread my needle, and then we'll go over the beads and sequins. And then I'm going to go back through and come back up right close to the edge. That'll hold my knot in place. Now, I picked a white glossy with a white, this is a white luster from Hobby Lobby. They are $2.99, but they're on sale at least 1 week a month, and you can get them for half price. So watch the ads, because the minute that's on half price, you want to get in there that morning, because they sell out pretty fast of this white. I also bought a yellow from there. And I do have an orange, but it's not going to work. This will not work with the orange metallic that I'm using. Now, I prefer to use a metallic, and I have a beautiful orange metallic, which I've got some vintage ones in a baggie here. These I've been using for 30 years. back when I was first doing ornaments, we had very few colors, and orange was one of the ones I could get only rarely. So when I did find it, I bought a bunch of bags, and I'm still working off of these. But I have lots of other metallic orange. You can buy metallic orange pretty much anywhere. These are from Hobby Lobby. And I pretty much bought these just to show you guys. And they have, you know, your reds, your greens, and most of your basic colors, but they do have orange. Now, some people like the candy corns that are chocolate on the bottom, so you could put brown on the bottom instead of the yellow. So if you wanted the chocolate, you just do this in brown instead of yellow. Then I've got a sequin that I picked up from Cartwright's, and it's called Luscious Lemon. It's a kind of a metallic-y looking sequin. It's kind of interesting. It's got some, does have a little bit of green reflection in it, but yellow is the one sequin that's hard to find. I have these you can no longer buy from Cartwright's. I bought this bag on clearance. In fact, I bought 2 big bags on clearance back when they had really good clearances. And these are a clear yellow. And this would actually work very well too, but since you cannot buy this, I won't use it. White is just a white glossy, which they also sell. Let me see if I got the bag here. And you can also use clear as well. I'll show you that. Where's the white glossy? Well, I think this is the bag I use, but this is just a white glossy, which they do sell along with whitest white. So you can get all the colors that you need, but yellow is tough, and they do have a few yellows. They have this yellow, they had this sunflower, but this was a 6mm, and I like to use 5s, and all the other sequins I'm using are 5s, so this would have been out of proportion. They also had this one, which was very pretty, but it was too soft of a yellow. I like this one. It's one of my favorites of theirs, and I think I have a big bag like this of this as well. I could be wrong. But this is the wrong shade. It's not bright enough to be a candy corn. It's more spring colors. So I decided, and I also have this one too, which is called Sunflower. I might have just showed you that. But anyway, this again would have been okay in color, but just the size, but still kind of a little light for a candy corn. So I decided to use this Luscious Lemon, which you can get at Cartwright's. I'm not affiliated with Cartwright's, but that's their website. They don't know I'm sharing this. They probably don't even care. They don't give affiliate links as far as I know. They don't need to. This is the only game in town if you want some unique sequins. And I've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars there over many, many years. I started buying from them before they had these professional bags, and they were just little baggies like this with cardboard over the top. So I've got probably $1,000 worth of their sequins from the last however many years. You want your beading thread. I use my big spool, but you can buy the little spools like this at Michael's in black and white. And I think they have one that's like a beige and a pink. They're very pricey, but if you use your coupon at Michael's, then they're reasonable. And I believe Joann's might sell white. I can't remember, but they do sell beading needles, which I had out, yeah, right here to show you. These are from Joann's. You get six beading needles for, I think it's maybe $4. I can't remember, but they do have a coupon too. So it's best to watch for that coupon if you're building your supplies. I highly recommend beading needles because a normal sewing needle will not often fit through the middle of a seed bead because the eye of the needles are much bigger. These are a little harder to thread, but they will work well. And the other advantage of a bead thread is it's extremely strong. Unlike sewing thread, you cannot break it with your hands. It would cut your finger before it would break, and I've never been able to break it. So it's a nylon thread. Well, here's the new one I have, and I use size D right there, and it's Nemo bonded nylon. This is a 3-ounce spool. These run about $30, $25 to $30 shipping included, or $25 with shipping, somewhere in that range on Amazon and eBay. And they have lots of colors, and I have it in black and white in several sizes. And then I have the size D in red and green, a couple different blues, I think a beige, and a brown. I don't know. I've got a bunch of colors though. And that I've got more thread than I can use if I live to be 200. So I never have to buy another spool of thread. And I have a lot of little spools in different colors. And you can buy these on Amazon. These are a bigger spool than the little ones that you can get online and at Michael's. It's a little bit thicker thread. I like the colors that they offer. And I think you get 36 spools for like 40 bucks on Amazon. Again, not an affiliate link. I don't have affiliate links with them at this point. But what I like about this is the colors are so vibrant and you get such a variety of blues and greens, and this is the only way I was able to get yellow and orange, which if I was making this ornament for myself and not a video, I would use white for the white, yellow for the yellow, and orange for the orange, because you have to cut the thread anyway. Well, no you don't. I guess you don't, but it would just be as easy to switch it over. But since I'm doing this as a project for you, and you might only have access to white or not want to buy more, seriously, this spool, I've been using this spool for almost 30 years. And I still have quite a bit. And the only reason I bought the replacement is I just like having a backup of stuff. And it's still sealed in the plastic and it's quite nice. You can see this one's yellowed a little bit. Not too bad. As I use it, the yellowing's not as bad as up on top, where you can see it's quite yellowed. But anyway, through Amazon you can get the yellow and the orange in one of their sets. They sell 12-piece sets. I think they're like 16 for 12 rolls, and there's like 3 different sets of 12 you can get. And if you get all 3, it used to be 36 and now it's like 40, which is actually for the amount of, and if you have Amazon Prime, you don't pay shipping. So it's actually a pretty good deal. But you can get thread pretty much anywhere that sells beads and sequins online. So you need an 11/0 seed bead in the colors you choose, 5mm sequins in the colors you choose, whether you want brown or yellow, white, and orange. You don't have to use metallic. You could use any color of orange you wanted. I have an orange that matches this that I did a pumpkin out of. I could have done that too. So really it's whatever you like, your choice. And you could make 5 of them 5 different ways. Another way you could do it is if you didn't want to spend a lot of money. How I started years ago is I bought clear sequins. And then I would use clear sequins over the color of felt. Now to do that, you would have to cut out all 3 pieces. Like I did here, except you'd have to do the orange as well to make it the right thickness. I'll still finish this for myself, but I was not happy and wasn't going to show you that video. But if you cut out an orange to fit in there, then you could do each color with the clear, and it would come out looking pretty decent. A little more muted. It wouldn't be as bright and vibrant, but it would still work. But anyway, so those are the materials you need: is felt, a pattern of some kind, or a cookie cutter, which you can get those candy corn cookie cutters either at Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. I got it in a store. Thread, beading thread, and beading needles. That's what you need. Then you're going to come through where you want to start your white. And now what I usually do though is, since that won't show because it is going to be hidden by the sequins, I kind of like to take a pencil and a ruler and kind of go across where I want to put my and you want to line it up at the bottom here. So I'm lining it up here. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. I'm lining it up at the bottom so it's straight, and then I'm just going to move it up to where I want to do the white, which is right here. I want to do the white, and a pencil works just fine on felt, and it's not too dark, and that will be hidden by the sequins. And I'm going to do across there. I'm going to go around and then fill it in. So I'm doing a small white, I'm going to do a small yellow, and I'm actually going to do it right on the line, so it'll go a little past the line. So what I'm going to do is take the white, and I'm going to get a sequin, and they're cup sequins. I like the semi-cup. Now you can use flat sequins for this too. These are semi-cupped. If you look, they have little facets. When you turn it over, it has a slight, they stick to you, it has a slight cup to it. There are fully cupped sequins, but they're harder to find and usually really small. I've got some fully cupped, but they're like a 4mm, and they are a full cup. But most of them are semi-cupped like this with just a small facet that is raised. You want to put that face down, because then when you pick it up, so you're going to put it face down, and then you're going to pick up a seed bead. And then when you put it on the fabric, see, it goes up right side up. So let me show you. Caught you on the camera there. So oh my goodness, I got a long piece of thread. So once you get that set on there, you're going to go back through only the sequin, not the seed bead, because you'll watch, if you watch, that seed bead is what will hold it on. There. And then you're going to put the next one on, just going along that line. I'd like to do the line first because then it gives me a clear definition. And then when you put your second sequin and so forth on, or seed bead and sequin, again, you're going to put the two on and pull them down to the fabric. And I often do sit it down on the table like that. Then you're going to pull it up using your finger and the needle. And I kind of push it so that the edge of this sequin, right here, the edge of the sequin, is touching the thread on that sequin. Make sure you're on your line. Move it over with the needle and go in. And every sequin, just kind of check and make sure you're on track. And then you go down the line. You use that pencil mark and come up again. You do that. I'll do one more, and then I'll show. Then I'll come back after I fill this in. And then, and the reason I tell you to do around the edges first is because, let me do this stitch and then I'll explain to you. And again, I'm going to pull it so that they're all lined up. When you, if I was to go across the line and just start filling in, I could get to here and have have half a sequin left, so that when I put the sequin, it goes over the edge. Or if you do the entire edge, it's perfect on the edge and it's easier to fill in and make that work than it is to try to put too big of a sequin on the edge that's almost full. So it just ends up looking better. I'll show you the one that I did do that I decided not to show you. I did the edge first and then I filled it in. And right there, you know, you can see where I just had perfect space. And in here you can see there might be a couple places where I crammed in a sequin or two, but you can't tell because I did the edges first. Okay? So that's why you want to do the edges first. And then that way, you don't have to. You can do it every way you want. But from doing these for almost 30 years, I figured out that was the best way to do it. So I'm going to finish across here. I'm going to go all the way around. Then I'll fill it in and I'll be back and we'll start on the orange. Now, you could start here and then finish here and that way continue across. And that way you don't have to cut the thread. But I like going across the line. It just makes me feel a little better. Another thing you could do is, if you, well, no, that's about the only way. I like to go across here. I like to go across the line first. And then I still have to fill it in. But here's the deal. What I can do is go around and then fill it in from here and end there, or fill it in this way and end here. So that might be what I try to do if I have enough thread, so I don't have to. But when you're doing a piece, you're going to be cutting the thread and retying it at least a couple times anyway. But I'm going to try to, come to here, go around, and kind of go this way so I can end here, and then that way we won't have to cut the thread at least one time. So those are the things to think about when you're planning, and I'm kind of doing it out loud with you, because I've never done one of these before. The only candy corn I ever did were these little sewn ones, which I'll do a video on this on another day, but that's the only, and I did this in the 90s. This is almost a 30-year-old pin, and I've kept them bagged up and nice so they still look good, but I did these in like the mid-90s, 93, 94, somewhere, maybe 95, but I think it was around 94, and I did a whole bunch of them. So, but I'll do that on another video, and that'll be a simple one too. So I'll be right back. Of course, for you, it'll be right back. For me, it'll be in a little bit. And I'll show you how it turned out. Okay, I've got the white done. Now, if at this point you think you need another row of white, you can put that on. And I'm contemplating it. I know on this one, I did a much deeper, but that was too deep. So I think what I'm going to do is go across one more row of white, and I think that'll be perfect. And that's another reason why doing it this way tends to be a better way to do it, because it makes it easier to change anything you don't like. Where once I cut out those pieces for the one that didn't work out. And I want to show you there's a spot here that I'm not happy with, but I kind of can hide it. And it's right there. I didn't get quite over to that corner, but that's okay. But I'm going to fill in this one, and then I'll be right back, and we'll start the orange. Okay, so now I like that better. Now I'm going to start with the orange, and I will fill in the orange till about here. And so I'm going to take the pencil and again do another mark. And the way I like to do it is come from the bottom where you can kind of level it. So that, let me see if so I level it with the bottom, and then I kind of move the ruler up to keep it as straight as I can, and then draw across. That way you're getting as even as you can get. And it works pretty well. And if you get started and it doesn't look as even as you like, it's easy to, if you do that line, as you get to the orange, you can kind of see if it looks straight, and you can adjust it if you have to, the last line or two. So I don't even have to change the thread because I managed to do what I planned to do and go right into this. So I'm going to take an orange, and because the orange is metallic, and like I said, I don't have a bead that looks really good with it. I'm just using a clear glass. They're all glass, but just a clear seed bead. Let's see. And I take the needle and my finger when necessary. Like I'll hold it like this sometimes. And take my finger and the needle and push it where I want it to go. You kind of have manipulated a little bit. And then in this case, I'm going to come down to here and go across because that line's already there. So I'm going to come down here, go across this line, which you can barely, but you can see it. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in person it does show up. Yeah. So I'm going to come down to here, go across here, back up, and then around there, and then I'll fill it in. So I'll do a couple stitches again just to show you. And so picking it up upside down again. These are really hard to see because they're clear. So got a little bit of wind going on outside. It keeps shaking the windows and the stuff I have hanging on the porch because I have a lot of fun little things hanging up on our wooden house porch. That's the fun of having an old wooden house, is you can hang pretty things up on your porch and it looks cute. But when it gets windy, those things rattle and roll. And you can hear them. Okay. And again, you just take, remember, do not go, remember, and in case I didn't tell you before, and I think I did, do not go through the seed bead, just the sequin. And you just take your finger, and you can hold that in place. Just careful, because you will poke your finger through the back. There. Now I'm going to keep doing that all the way down to the line, and I think I'm going to darken that line just slightly. I can see it, but there. Hopefully that'll show up on camera a little bit better now. So I'm going to go down to that line, go around, and I'll get this filled in, and when the orange is done, I'll come back and show you, and we'll start the yellow. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're ready to finish it off, and once again, I will go down, around, and up here, and then fill it in, and when I'm back, we'll discuss how we're going to edge it. I think I might do a regular edge on it, but I haven't decided yet, so we'll see how it looks when it's done, and then we'll sew the two pieces together and edge it, because that's how I sew it together, is with the edging, and we'll just go from there. Then we'll do the loop. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, there we go. The front is finished. This is what the back looks like. You can see all the little stitches. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I think that's better than when I tried to layer it. I don't like how big I made these either. I like this proportion better. So a lot of times when you're doing beadwork, you experiment and it doesn't always come out the way you want it to. So sometimes I will stop mid-project and just say, you know, it's not worth finishing. I might finish it just for myself. I might take it all apart. It's okay. That's part of learning. So now what I'm going to do is stitch this piece to the back. And now I'm considering cutting a piece of black felt to put on the back. So I think I'm going to come back with a piece of black felt for the back. And then I'm going to use black beads to sew it together. I think that'll look really sharp. And since this orange does not match this orange very well, I think that would look better. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with the black cut out. I gotta do a little trimming. Oh no, that's just a loose piece. Okay, so I cut out a piece of black and I laid them together and I trimmed, because once you cut out both pieces and both were the stamp, the full stamp, once you stitch one, the other one will be slightly too big. So the new one I cut out was slightly too big. So I just kind of lined them up well and kind of went around the edge, and there's still a little bit of areas where it's not perfect, but that's okay because the stitching will hide that. But you're going to pick a place and you're going to start, and you're going to come in, go up between the sequins, but please make sure you do not go up inside of a sequin, because if you come up in the middle and then come back out over, you'll leave a thread across the top of the sequin. So you're going to come in like this so that your knot will be inside. Then you're going to pull the thread through the sequin so you're out there, and you're going to do the same thing again from the back. You're going to push through and make a loop, also making sure you don't catch a sequin. Then you're going to come back here and you're going to add 3 seed beads. 3 the first time, it'll be 2 for all the other stitches, but 3 black seed beads. You can do whatever color you want though. You can edge with white, yellow, orange. Okay, and then you're going to go back through both pieces of felt. Okay, you got the 3 seed beads on the thread. Can't see them right now, they're out of frame, but you're going to go back through the felt in between the sequins and pull it till you see the 3 seed beads. There we go. Now, what you're going to do is tuck that thread up like that and go back up through the very last seed bead, the one going the direction that you're going. And then you're going to pull it, and it's going to make a triangle. Can you see the triangle? Then you're only going to add 2 from now on to make that same triangle. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go back through, push between the sequins, but not up through. Okay? And then you're going to pull it, and then it'll line up with the other sequins to make another triangle. You see, there's, oh, it's hard to, there it is. There's the other triangle. I've got to go back up through it. I forgot to tell you that step, I think, on the last one, but you come back up through the sequin. I probably showed you. I showed you, obviously, but I didn't tell you. But you're going to come. I'm going to show you this whole one on frame, okay? This is really hard to do on camera, but I'm going to do my best to show you a couple of the stitches. All right. Okay, so you add 2 seed beads. You go from the back, pretty close to the one you just did, and go push through, but not inside. You want to go between the sequins. Then you're going to pull it, and just, of course this is easier when you're not doing it around a camera. And then see, it makes a little triangle. Then you go back up through that seed bead. It looks messy right now because I've got a big long piece of thread, but there, make sure it doesn't catch. Also make sure you don't go through that loop. Somehow I went through the loop. Okay, there you go. And now you got 3, and you're going to go back up. There. I'm going back up through that one bead. And then now I've got 3 little stitches. And you just keep doing that. I'll do one more to show you. You'll put 2 seed beads on. The only difference between the first stitch and the rest of the stitches is 1 extra seed bead to start your triangle. And then once you have that triangle started, you only need 2 per stitch to continue the triangle. So you got your little triangle, and then all you have to do is go back up through that last bead. And you're just going to keep going that direction. So I'll come back, and then another thing I do is I save cotton out of vitamin and, well, I don't really take medications, but out of vitamin bottles. I think it might be an ibuprofen or something, I don't know, but I take a little bit of this cotton and I spread it out really thin like this, and then I kind of lightly stuff this ornament. Now you do this to your own personal preference. I don't put a whole lot. I just kind of lay it in there like this, just to give it a little more substance. Now you can make it as fat or as flat as you want. Now you can make this really stuffed full. If you do that, I would leave the extra felt around the edge, because then that gives you a little more room. But I just like it to be slightly stuffed like that. So when I lay this down and I stitch it together, it just gives it a little tiny bit of extra thickness, not a whole lot, and it also stiffens it a little bit. Now to stiffen it, you could also put a small piece of cardboard in there that's cut smaller, pipe cleaner. There's lots of stuff you can do if you not want to stuff it, but you want to give it a little stiffness. You could take a pipe cleaner and kind of zigzag it in there. That might leave a pattern on the back though. The cotton does a little bit, but you can put as little or as much as you want. So when I come back, the whole edge will be stitched, and I'll come back right before I do the last stitch to show you how to finish the edge, and then we'll do the loop. So I'll be back as soon as the edge is done. Okay, I wanted to show you how to tie this together at the end. So what you're going to do is go around till you have your last stitch right up against the first stitch. See the two, I don't know if you can see that, but there's the the first, let's see, this is the, gotta come up through this one. It's my last stitch, okay? Something's not right with that. Alright, then we're going to just add 1 bead, and then we're going to go down the other bead. So basically we're putting the tip of the triangle on those 2 sides, and that's how you finish it up. It's that simple. You just get the 2 stitches next to each other as close as you can, and then you put then I'm going to just sew it together, which I always do the same way, which is looping. But like I said, you can do this any way you want. I loop it 2 or 3 times this way, and then I loop it 2 or 3 times this way. And then I go back through the original way. And it's just, you know, you can tie it in a knot if you want. You can also put a drop of glue if it makes you feel happier. And then that's what it looks like when you're done. Now all we have to do is the loop. So I'll be right back with some fresh thread and we'll do the loop. Alright, well, we're going to put the loop on, and this is real easy. Now you can do it from the back. Now when I trimmed it, I over trimmed on this side. I really don't know what happened. I thought I had it centered. Obviously I did not, but I was able to fix it. So take a lesson from me, and before you trim anything, make sure you're right. But I messed up there. Now once you get comfortable, you can come in from this side, and what you do, but you can do it from the other side too. I'm going to show you the way I do it, but then I'll tell you how to do it from the other side. And I get it here, I make sure I'm into the felt, and then I push my needle until I can come up through the center of the bead. And then I pull that knot up under the sequins. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make about a 6-inch string of beads. So I'm going to just string them on. I'll show you real quick. Oh, I'm out of frame again, aren't I? Let's see here. I'm just stringing them on. I'm not doing anything terribly exciting, but what I'm doing is I'm going to just string the beads onto the needle. And then I take a ruler and I just keep doing this until I have a 6-inch string of beads. I had a little 6-inch ruler. I guess I'll just use my regular ruler. I have a little 6-inch ruler I use for the 7-inch ruler. It's a lot less bulky. But I'm going to do this till I get to 6 inches on the ruler. So when I get the beads to here, I'll come back and show you how I loop it. Alrighty, I've got it to the full 6 inches, and then I'm going to show you how I tie this knot off. Now, I come back through this other bead on the other side. So I've got one coming out through here. I've got the center bead, and then I'm going to go back through the other bead. Now you can go back behind the sequins, but since that one's a little bit tougher, I'm going to show you how to, and really the only knot I care to hide is the original knot, because since I just do a really close, nice little loop, it doesn't look bad, but the knot just never looks neat. So if you can tuck the knot under here, and then you can tie off and back, and that works out really nice. And I do a double loop because I want it extra strong, because the only thing that's truly fragile on these pieces is the loop, and especially if you're not able to get any beading thread at first, definitely do a double loop of thread just to make sure you've got it very secure. You're just going to keep looping it. I just keep going around in a circle about 3 times, 4 times. Then I'm going to go and turn it, and then go the other direction, right as close up to the top as I can get, and being careful not to catch the loop. I've done that before. One thing I also didn't tell you to do is make sure you pulled it tight. You don't want those beads loose. Then you'll have to redo the whole thing. So you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. I think I just do it automatically, so I don't think about it. And then once you get that last time, and you feel it snug, like I always say, you can always put a dab of glue if it makes you feel better, but I've never had one come undone. And there is your candy corn. You can just kind of maneuver the little edging around so it looks the way you want. And it comes out really cute. Now you can, like I said, you can edge it in any color you want. You can also do this in the chocolate color if you prefer. You can do a more mellow orange there. Like I said, I have an orange that matches these. You could do that very easily, and that might be cute too. Well, I think it would be just as cute, maybe even cuter, but I wanted to use the metallic. But you could use any orange you want. And I also knew that this orange was available at Hobby Lobby. Any of the other oranges I get from Cartwright's. But Cartwright's is a lot of fun. You could get all the different sizes, all the different colors, lots of different shapes. And their prices are fairly reasonable. I think they're reasonable. This was $2. And maybe their packages aren't as big. This is 8.84 ounces. This one says approximately 1,000 pieces. So obviously you're paying $2 for a lot here. And for this one you're paying almost the same, maybe $150 to $175 for probably about a third of the same amount. But it's the colors you get that are amazing. And when you can get the, they do sell most of their sequins in bulk lots. And I got this one really cheap for like $3 on clearance. Normally it would be about $13. I don't know what they are now. This is half full because I have given some away and used some. But the full bag, I think I have it. Oh no, it's put away. But it's a pretty big bag. And this one in 100 grams here. This is 100 grams. And this is 24 grams. So this is a quarter of this. So really these are a good deal because you figure you're paying $8 for 100 grams, where I paid, these are even on sale, well, I think on sale I paid 3 or 5. Full price, these are 12 or 13. But again, they're specialty colors. So for your basic colors, you can't go wrong with Hobby Lobby and Joann's and Michael's. And Joann's isn't as good. They're pretty pricey on their sequins. I won't lie to you. I bought a little bag that I thought, for some bizarre reason, thought I paid $2 or $3, and it turns out I paid $5. I was not happy when I figured that out. I think I even said that on a video. But Hobby Lobby, if you have one near you, is probably the best. Michael's is really good too. Those would be my place of choice if I had to buy my sequins in a store. Now they do offer lots of, I think I might have one. No, they have the bags, the tubs actually, a tub of miscellaneous. Like if you want a whole variety of different sizes and shapes, use the coupon and get, it's like a plastic round, I think it's a plastic round tub. It has all different sizes, shapes, colors, and give a nice variety. But Hobby Lobby, these are a great deal. But anyway, I'll be back soon. I hope you enjoyed this little ornament. And like I said, you can use any color, you know, make it more of a harvest colors. You don't have to do these colors. You can do anything you want, and they come out really nice. And yeah. And it's not perfectly square, I don't think, but it's good enough. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a handcrafted item. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.